So good morning. Good morning. Let's start our first lesson this week. This is C programming. And last week we checked introduction to C programming, the basics of C, including data types, operator, and the syntax. How are we supposed to arrange our C program or the structure? Where we said we start with the header file, main function, then the C statements, and then at the end we have return 0. So I want us to start control structures today. Control structure is a basic concept in C programming whereby we control how programs are supposed to be executed. So I've shared the summary of the same on the portal and I want us to discuss together. So let me share the screen.
Okay.
When it comes to control structures, a control structure will present how statements in a program are executed. It will analyze the variables that we have within our program and also will choose the direction in which our program is supposed to be executed. Why are we supposed to use control structures in our program? The main advantage of having control structure is just to dictate the direction in which the program will follow when it is executing our program or our statements. We have three main types of control structures in C programming. The first one is sequence, selection, or decision making, and lastly looping, or what we call iteration or repetition. A sequence is the simplest form of control structure where all the statements within your program have to be executed from the first one to the last one. So in such a case, you don't use any repetition, you don't have any decision. All the statements have to be executed based on how they have been listed. Then number two, the selection control structure, that's the key. Selection involves decision making, where some statements will be executed while others will be ignored based on the decision that you have set as a programmer. When it comes to selection control structure, we have three types: single selection that uses if statement, double selection that uses if else statement, and multiple selection that uses if else if or switch case in C programming. So let's start with the first two, single selection. When it comes to single selection, here we'll only have if statement within our application. We only have if statement. For example, check our flowchart that is here. We have start button, then you set your condition within your application. If that condition is true, the conditional codes will be executed, your statements will be executed. But if the condition is false, no any other statement will be executed. The program will terminate. That's the simple form of single selection where we only use if statement. For example, check the syntax that is there. We have if, then condition. Meaning, if our condition is true, the block of C statements that are here enclosed within the if condition will be executed only if our condition is true. But if the condition is not true, our application won't execute any statement. Check the example that is there. Expression is true. We have a variable called test of data type int. We have initialized to 5. Now our condition is if test being our variable is less than 5. If that is true, the codes within the if statement will be executed. Alternatively, if our condition is false, here you can see calls after if, but in our case, that one will terminate our application. Example, let's check our first example. We have our header file there. Okay, I hope we are together. That's our header file. Main function, int x equals to 20, int y equals to 22. Now, this is our condition. If x being our variable 20 and y being our variable 22, x is greater than y. If that condition is true, okay, let's mute our sound so that we concentrate. So if x is less than y, that's our condition. If that is true, it will execute this statement, print function, variable x is less than y. But assuming if our condition is false, we don't have any other statement to be executed. That's the essence of if condition. We'll only test one condition. If it is true, we output our statement. All statements will be executed if our condition is true. If it is false, no statement will be executed. And that's why we call it single selection, only if statement. I believe that one I'm very clear. Then double selection. Double selection is an extension of if. An extension of if, meaning we'll have else. Now if the condition is false, initially for if the condition is false, no statement to be executed. But now here, if the condition is false, we'll have the else part, meaning the programmer will have to choose between two statements. If the first part, if our condition is true, the statement enclosed within the if section will be executed. But if our condition is false, the statements within the else part will be executed. Let's take our flowchart there. We have start. Here you can put start. It's optional. Start our condition. If the condition is true, the if section will be executed. If the condition is false, the else part will be executed. I want us to compare that with our first example that was here. Here, if our condition is true, the conditional code, meaning if section will be executed, but if our condition is false, it will terminate. For double selection, if the condition is false, else section will be executed. Our example is there. Hash include, that's the header file. This is a variable. I want us to enter the variable. We have declared a variable age. We enter, then we check if this person can vote or not. Being our condition, or if we set our condition as you have to vote, for you to vote, you have the age must be 18 or above. Your age must be 18 or above. That will be our condition. So int age, our variable, we are now initializing here. Enter age, you prompt the user to input. We use scan function. Because it is integer, we use %d format specifier. Then where do you want to store it? In a variable called age, what we have declared here. Then if age is greater than or equals to 18, that's our condition. If that condition is true, anything we have enclosed within if part, what have I highlighted, that section will be executed if our condition is true. But if our condition is false, the else section will be executed. That is double selection. And I want us to execute that. Let's start with our first example here for if. I copy this. I open the compiler here. Can you see the compiler? One of you to confirm. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So I will paste the source code there. That's our first example. Then execute, compile. We start with compilation. Now I'll save my source file. I'll just use one.c. You select where you want to save. So I've saved on the desktop. Save. Down there you can see errors, no, warning, no. Our code is okay. We compile and run. We see the outcome. We have seen the output there. Variable x is less than variable y. Here, x is 20, y is 22. So our condition is x is less than y, meaning 20 is less than 22. If that is true, variable x is less than y. Assuming if I change here, I use another value like 30. I use 30. It will change our condition. I compile and run again. You can see you don't have any output. no output is displayed. Why? Because our application is testing our condition, and it will only return the output if our condition is true. But now, based on the variables that are here, our condition is false, and we have not stated the outcome to be displayed if our condition is false. That one is okay, our first example. Let us now have another example using double selection. I just copy paste what is here. We compile again. These are comments in C. Multiple comments, you start with / asterisk, then you terminate at the end with asterisk /. If you want to have one line statement consisting of comments, you only put 2 /. That one is single and multiple comments in C. So let me execute this, compile and run. So enter your age, assuming my age is 15 years. The outcome is you are not eligible for voting. Why? This is our condition. If age is greater than 18, you are eligible for voting. If that condition is false, the outcome will be you are not eligible for voting. So that is double selection. Let me enter another value, you see. I enter 65. So that one will make our condition true because 65 is greater than 18. So the outcome is eligible for voting. Anyone with a question so far? Anyone with a question? Okay. If no question, let's check a question from a past paper together. We check a question together. Okay. I believe you can see number 8 there. Write a C program that prompt a user to enter the amount of. Okay. You can see.
Yes.
Winnie or
Yeah.
Can you see the question number 8?
Hapana.
Okay. So let me share the screen again. And now,
Yes.
number 8, question number 8. Write a program in C language that prompts a user to enter the amount of fee paid. When the amount of fee paid is less than 20,000, the program displays a message, cyber services denied. So this will be our condition. You enter the amount of fee paid, then if that amount is less than 20,000, the program is supposed to display a message, cyber services denied. So let me open the compiler. Can you see the compiler?
No.
Okay. Now you can see.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll start with the header file hash include. This one you're writing together stdio.h. That's our header file. Then the main function. From there, our variable, what are we supposed to enter? The fee. So you can say int fee for the cyber, then printf. You prompt the user to enter fee for the cyber. You can have any statement there. We said you terminate with a semicolon. Any statement you terminate with a semicolon. Then scanf to read the input. Because we have used int, we have to use %d format specifier. Then where do you want to store that variable? in a memory called fee. Terminate with a semicolon. Now we set our condition if fee is greater than, so let me confirm the condition that was there in our question. The condition is if amount paid, if when the amount of fee paid is less than 20,000. So we say if is less than, fee is less than 20,000, that's our condition. If that is true, we'll have printf cyber services denied. You can have /n. Let's start a new line. Then that statement will only be executed if our condition is true. What if our condition is false? We'll add else part, else section. We'll have printf cyber services granted. Then we can put return 0. The last two statements are optional. Can have system pause and then return 0. Let me compile my application, execute compile. We save as, can call it cyber.c. You have to add .c extension. So I compile again, compile and run. We don't have any error. You can see application as compiled. So enter the fee for the cyber. If I enter 15,000, the output is cyber services denied. Why? Because our condition is true. If fee is less than 20,000, cyber services denied. So let me enter more than that, execute, compile, and run again. Oh, assuming I have 30,000, so that one I'll have cyber services granted. Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? Okay. Now let's have another example. Let's have another example together. Can you see question number D? D. Write a C program that will prompt a user to enter two numbers, then output the greater of the two numbers. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay, let's write that together again. Write a C program that will prompt a user to enter two numbers, then output the greater of the two numbers. So that one is supposed to use double selection. So let's open our compiler. This is our compiler. We write again together hash include stdio.h. Then main function. All the statements must be within the curly braces. So here we need two variables. So I'll have int a and b. Because we're entering two variables, int a and b, prompt the user to enter the two values. Say print function, enter the two, or let's enter 1 it's okay. Enter the first number. Enter the first number. So scan function, percentage %d, that one is stored in a memory called A. I'll copy paste this. Enter the second number. Enter the second number. That one is stored in a memory called B. Now we put our condition. We say if A is greater than B, that's our condition. We'll have print F, print function, maximum. And let me check the condition, how it was. That will enter the two values and then output the greater of the two. That's okay. The greater of the two. So we say maximum or greater number is given us. So we'll call percentage. Then we call that variable. In such a case, we'll call A if that our condition is true. Else, just allow me to copy paste this. Else, if our condition is true, the greater number will be B.
B.
B, that is true. Then system pause. The last two statements, I say they are optional. Depending on the compiler that you are using, other compilers will just display the output, then disappear. So to delay that output window, that's where we apply system pause. You can use system pause, or you can use, let me add a comment there, or you can use get character, get ch. So let me compile this, compile and run. There's an error there. We missed a semicolon. This is called debugging. Rectifying error, also a semicolon there. Any statement must be terminated with a semicolon. So enter the first value, I enter 67, value 2, 89. So you can see, this is the greater, now okay, let me check that condition. If A is greater than B, let's check the condition there. Greater, I had used less than, sorry for that. So compile and run. So I use 89, I use 45. So the greater number is 89. So let me enter the numbers again. I start with the smaller number, 23, and then 78. So the greater number is 78. So this is double selection. Declaration of variables, enter the first value, enter value 2. This is our condition if A is greater than B. So the maximum value or greater number will be A, if this condition is true. But if our condition is false, the greater number is B.
B.
Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? We are okay, all of us? Huh? Winnie? Any question? Okay. Lisa? Melanie?
Okay.
Okay. So I will share this video with you and also the audio so that you can refer and get the concepts clearly. So that's now for today. We'll have another Zoom lesson this week. I'll organize, then I'll communicate to you. So have a good day.
Same to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Asante.